In today's episode on US Coinage, we take a deep and detailed look at a coin that many people ignore, but one that carries a very interesting story behind it, the 1967 Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary dime, small, simple, and very common, but once you understand its background, you'll realize this coin belongs to one of the most unusual periods in US coin history. This coin features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, a design introduced in 1946 to honor the former president. Roosevelt's connection with the March of Dimes campaign, and his fight against polio, made the dime the perfect tribute to his legacy. On the reverse, the coin displays a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, along with an olive branch representing peace, and an oak branch representing strength, a powerful and meaningful design that has remained unchanged for decades. Now let's move into the historical context of the 1967 dime. The mid-1960s were a very difficult time for US coinage. There was a severe coin shortage across the country, and people began hoarding coins, especially those containing silver. Because of rising silver prices, older dimes made before 1965 started disappearing from circulation. To solve this crisis, the US government made major changes. First, silver was completely removed from dimes, and replaced with a copper-nickel clad composition. And second, from 1965 to 1967, all mint marks were temporarily removed from US coins. This means something very important. Your 1967 dime will have no mint mark at all, regardless of where it was produced. This makes it unique compared to most other years. Now let's talk about composition. The 1967 dime is made of a copper-nickel clad, with an outer layer of nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This gives the coin its silver-like appearance, even though it contains no actual silver. Now moving to mintage. In 1967, over 2.2 billion dimes were produced. This extremely high mintage makes the coin very common in circulation. Because of this, most 1,967 dimes you find today are worth only face value. But as always, condition makes all the difference. In circulated condition, these coins are generally worth 10 cents, with no premium. But when we move into uncirculated coins, values begin to increase. Coins graded MS-63 can be worth around $1 to $2. In MS-65, values can rise to around $3 to $7. And in higher grades like MS-66 or MS-67, prices can reach $20, $50, or even over $100 depending on quality. Now let's talk about something very important for collectors. Special mint set coins, also known as SMS coins. Just like the 1967 penny, the US Mint did not produce regular proof sets during this period. Instead, they issued special mint sets. These SMS dimes have a better finish, sharper details, and a semi-proof appearance. They are not fully proof coins, but they are much more attractive than regular circulation coins. In normal SMS condition, they can be worth around $2 to $5. But in higher grades like MS-67 or MS-68, values can rise significantly, sometimes reaching $20, $50, or even more. Now let's move into one of the most important value factors for Roosevelt dimes. Full bands, or FB designation. On the reverse, the torch has horizontal bands. If these bands are fully separated and clearly visible, the coin can receive the full bands designation. These coins are much rarer, and far more valuable. For a 1967 dime, finding a strong full bands example is not easy. And in high grades, these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars at auction. Now let's talk about errors and varieties. Even though 1967 dimes are common, error coins can be very valuable. Some known errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing. Double die errors, where the design appears doubled. Die cracks and cuts, caused by worn or damaged dies. Clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is missing. And struck-through errors, where foreign material interfered during striking. These errors can increase the value significantly, sometimes reaching tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on rarity. Now let's talk about how to check your coin. Look closely at Roosevelt's hair, sharper details indicate a higher grade. Examine the torch on the reverse, especially the bands. If the bands are fully separated, your coin may carry a premium. Check the surface. Coins with fewer scratches and better luster are always more valuable. And always pay attention to originality. Coins that have been cleaned or polished lose value. Collectors prefer coins in natural condition, even if they are slightly worn. So if you ever come across a 1967 dime, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, check its condition, examine the details, and look for anything unusual. Because even a very common coin can sometimes turn out to be something special. And if you enjoy discovering coins like this, make sure to subscribe to US Coinage, where we uncover the real value hidden in everyday coins.